Joining us now is House Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thanks for joining us. You were in the Situation Room Thursday night as all of this was unfolding. Tell us about it.
Yes, we happened to be at the White House for the White House picnic, and the president pulled me over for a photo and said, join me in the Situation Room right after this. And, when the president says that, something is going on. So I went there and stayed for the next 4 to 5 hours, I think. It was quite a night. We watched, of course, as everything took place, and was in there with the cabinet officials and the president, and they were insistent, as you heard the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and others come out and say this was not a U.S. operation. I have always been a lifelong ally, strong ally of Israel, as is our nation. And so I went out to message on social media to explain, of course, that Israel was backed into a corner, felt as though it had to act to defend its own existence. Iran was very close, we felt, to actually building their own nuclear arsenal, and something had to be done. So personally, I fully support, of course, Israel. I think our nation does as well. We understand they must do what they must do, and we'll see what happens next.
Well, this is a historic moment because Israel, a precision attack, apparently, as information has been coming forth on this, inside operations to disable Iran's ability to counterattack. It's a new day for Israel. It is showing tremendous strength and fortitude that we've not seen. I mean, obviously, we've seen the fortitude before, but this takes them to a whole new level in the Middle East.
It does. I mean, the IDF has shown once again that they're an extraordinary fighting force. As small as that nation is, they can handle themselves as well as anyone probably in the history of mankind. You and I both know the reason for that. I mean, look, I always hearken back to the scripture and the word in Genesis. I'll bless the nation that blesses Israel and curse the nation that curses Israel. Hats off to them for their operation. I think most of the world is applauding loudly and publicly. Some may be applauding privately, but everyone understands that the Iranian regime was frankly just quite mad and had ill design, not just for Israel, but for the U.S. as well. And we have been quick to state that they better not even think about retaliating in any way against U.S. interest or personnel, because there will be an immediate and heavy toll to pay for that.
I mean, this is obviously it's going to be unfolding here in the days and weeks ahead, but this could be a major shift of the geopolitical landscape in the Middle East.
It could. As you know, I was previously scheduled to address the Knesset this coming Sunday, this week, and next week. And so we'll see how that goes. As of the time you and I are speaking, that's still planned and scheduled. So be an interesting time to be in the region as well.
All right, Mr. Speaker, let's shift to, we're focused obviously mostly today on this weekend on what's happening in the Middle East, but let's focus domestically because another big achievement, putting more policy points on the board in the House this week.
Yes, we keep moving step by step, as you know, and we passed the first rescissions package from the White House, and that is codifying much of the DOGE cuts. This one was focused at $9.4 billion. And we effectively clawed back spending of Congress that was misspent because the investigation of all that realized a lot of abuses and fraud and waste. And so we clawed back money for USAID that had been misused with all the outrageous examples that everyone heard, transgender operas in Peru and all the other nonsense. All that money is now back in the pockets of the U.S. taxpayer once it gets through the Senate and signed into law by the president. But then also we took funding from Corporation for Public Broadcasting because PBS and NPR have been politically biased entities for quite some time. They've been infusing their airwaves with radical leftist woke propaganda and trans programming and all the rest. So these are things that I think is very popular with the public. It was the right thing to do, and I'm glad that the Republicans in the House got it done. Not a single Democrat vote, Tony, participated in any of that, and I think the voters are watching that.
Mr. Speaker, just about a minute left. I spoke with Texas Senator John Cornyn, a part of the Senate leadership, regarding the reconciliation bill. A lot of I'm not going to say noise, but a lot of discussion over there about tweaking it. He still says that they can make the deadline of July the 4th of getting something out and onto the president's desk.
And it warms my heart to hear him say that. And the president and I talked about it as recently as yesterday, and we still hope and believe that's true. The president wants to sign it and have a big celebration for Independence Day. As he said, and I said, and everyone says, this will be the most consequential piece of legislation that has been passed by Congress in decades, and arguably one of the maybe top 2 or 3 pieces in the history of our institution. So we got to get it done. I'm pleading with my Senate colleagues again. Please don't modify it much, because I've got to get it through the House one more time. And I think we can. I think they'll make minor modifications, and we're going to get this done for the people.
All right, Mr. Speaker, thanks so much for taking time to join us, and happy Father's Day as we celebrate Father's Day this weekend.
Thanks a lot, brother. You too.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.